Hey, thanks for dropping by the channel today. What we're going to be doing today is something really interesting. Something I don't do often, but I like to do is go out for a morning walk. And what I'm going to be doing is going to be using my MP, Leica M-P 240 with a 50mm lens, which I never do. I'm not a real big 50mm guy. So it'll be interesting to try this out. And we're going to also do some interesting stuff with a GoPro mounted on the camera. So we're going to see how that goes. It'll be kind of fun. Give you more of a point of view of what I'm doing. And we'll see how that works. I'm not really sure. So, hey, catch me after the break and we'll see what happens. So let me show you the rig I'm using this morning. Here it is. I got the GoPro mounted on top of the M-P 240, and I've got the 50mm Summilux right here. Now, we've got some nice sun, so we might have some nice shadows here to work with. This looks going to be kind of interesting. I'm going to look around, and that's what I'm going to be looking for is shadows. And what I've done is I've set this camera up to shoot in black and white. I'm scared I'm going to lose this thing any second. So I've got the camera set up to shoot in black and white, JPEG, and RAW. So I got two options if I want to do a color shot, if I want to do a black and white shot, or if I want to use the JPEG, which are actually pretty good. So I'm going to look around town here, just a morning walk, do a couple miles of walking around and see what I find. So hang in there with me. Boy, some nice light over there with a dark background of that lobster boat with the really tall boys there on it. I just don't have a lens long enough. As you can see, we got some nice reflections going on here. It should be pretty nice. My exposure here is 500th of a second at 5.6. And I'm using the red focus peaking. And it's on high. That's kind of an interesting picture. You can kind of see it right here. I've got nice reflections. It's little in this frame, but I'm only taking in about that much of it. Well, I messed up. Apparently, I didn't set my camera to RAW and JPEG. I set my camera to just black and white. So all the JPEGs going forward here are just black and whites that I have adjusted in Lightroom. So we got some interesting flowers here. And 1.4, 3,000th of a second, or 2,000th of a second. And I got the 10x magnification on, so it helps me focus with the focus peaking. So that's kind of interesting. I like that. Well, I would have loved to have had a color version of this, but of course I messed up and didn't shoot RAWs along with my JPEGs. But I kind of like this shot anyway. So we're going to try some shots into the light, because I know this 50 Summilux doesn't really like into the light much, but I really like it. So we're going to see what happens. So here we go, into the light. Yeah, we got some good flare going on. Well, if I point down at the... Well, as I said before, this 50mm lens for some reason has some problems with flare. But as you can see, it's kind of emanating from the sunburst to the top of the Gussie's girl's boat there. But I don't think it's really that bad. So let's look for some shots here of these buoys. I'm going to shoot these at 1.4. Because we're shooting at a nice angle, we've got some interesting, I don't know what the heck these are going to look like. Oh, 1.4, they look kind of interesting. I think in color, that's going to look great. That's going to look kind of interesting. I really like that one.
Well, again, I really wanted to see this in color, but I didn't get the opportunity to do that, unfortunately, because I messed up setting up the camera. And that really is a lesson right there. Make sure the camera is set up properly every time you go out to shoot.
So this shot, this camera only goes to 2,000th of a second. So unfortunately, we're going to shoot at 2.8 at 4,000th of a second at ISO 200.
Well, one thing is for sure, I've never shot this particular scene quite like this before, with just the foreground in focus like this. It's kind of interesting. Never shot it with a 50, that's for sure. You can see over here, we got some nice shadows going on right in there. I think I've shot this particular steering wheel numerous times, but not with a 50mm lens, so something different.
Oh, here's an interesting shot here. I'm going to focus on the first chair. Alright, so that's at f2.
So with this image, I tried two different angles. This one's just standing straight up and down. The next one is at a lower angle. And you guys tell me which ones you like better. Which one you like better.
So here we are shooting the other side of it. It's kind of nice. You can see these shadows. Love the way this looks here. That shadow from the sign there. Wow, maybe I can figure out another way of shooting this. I think that's it.
So this shot here, I really like the leading lines that go into the two chairs, but I also like the shadow from the sign coming in from the left to the right to do the same thing.
These flowers are pretty nice. Backlit, but as I said before, this lens does not handle backlighting very well. That's with my hand over the, as you can see my hand in the GoPro shot. I'm trying to shield the light.
Well, certainly this shot would have been a heck of a lot better if it was in color, but didn't have that option, as you know.
We got some interesting shots, I think, with the MP240 with my GoPro on the top to add a little extra for you folks. But, you know, I wish I'd brought my neutral density filter so I could shoot at 1.4 for a lot of them, and I wasn't able to do that. I shot at 2 or f2.8 because my max shutter speed on this camera is 4,000. So we had a great time, and it's not something that I normally do. I normally don't go out with my 50. I need to do more of that, and I suggest you do the same. Find a lens you never use and go out and use it a lot, because it really helps. It really helps the way you see. I mean, if you go out with the same zoom lens all the time, you're not going to get better, I don't think. So I like to shoot at different focal lengths and get better at all of them if I can. So that's it. Thanks for joining me for the MP240 and the 50 Summilux. I had a great time, and I hope you did too watching it. Sorry for the wind. But that's it for this week. Oh, by the way, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the like button, give me a comment, and most especially subscribe to the channel. And that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next time.